When running your business, what's absolutely required to be successful are people on your team who you can trust. The way you can get people on your team who you can trust is to be trust. You do that through two ways. Number one is to say what you're going to do and then do what you said you would do. Always. Way number two is to be peace. You do that by breathing deeply and holding it in for a while whenever what's happening outside your head is different from what's happening inside your head and causing you stress in your heart, while asking yourself in your head, what's good about the way that I did not expect this to go? How is it improving something? At the very least, it has the potential to improve you in some way when you accept the guidance that you're being given. Also, ask yourself, how do I appreciate the person who I want to help or who I want to help me? Relationships are good when everyone involved benefits equally. Clearly, no response from someone means that there's no trust, that you can rely on that person. And it's time to drop that person like a bad habit and move on to someone who you can build trust with. Trust is the foundation of any good relationship. Being in Balance by Wayne Dyer. Reading number 5. Chapter 6. You can't discover light by analyzing the darkness. Balance your desire for prosperity with your habits of scarcity. Here's a quote by Ernest Holmes. God wills us, or whatever you want to call God, wills us to have everything. As we express life, we fulfill God's law of abundance. And we do this only as we realize that there is good enough to go around. Only as we know that all of God's gifts are given as freely and fully as the air and the sunshine. ... end quote. I replaced but with and because I don't like to negate the positive thing that was just said with the word but, even though he's going to move on to something different. But okay, so here's the quote again. God wills us to have everything. As we express life, we fulfill God's law of abundance. And we do this only as we realize that there is good enough to go around. There's abundance enough to go around. Abundance comes in many forms. The main ones that I've figured out are health, wealth, relationships, experiences, and freedom. And there's plenty of abundance for everybody. There's plenty of abundance for everybody, for everyone. There's no need to have there's no need to have 3% of the population having 97% of the money. There's plenty of abundance for everyone. You can be healthy whenever you want to choose to act and be healthy. The action comes after the thought, which comes after the emotions. The thoughts and emotions bounce off of each other and lead to your actions. You can be whatever you want to be. There's plenty of abundance to go around for everyone. God wills us to have everything. As we express life, we fulfill God's law of abundance. And we do this only as we realize that there is good enough to go around. Only as we know that all of God's gifts are given as freely and fully as the air and the sunshine. All of God's gifts are given as freely and fully as the air and the sunshine. They're free. Freedom is free. It's all free. Here's another quote by, the first name is spelled A-Y-N. Pronounce that however you want. Last name, Rand. A-Y-N, Rand. And I'm going to replace man with person in here because I'm pretty sure it applies to everyone. Every person is free to rise as far as they're able or willing. And it's only the degree to which they think that determines the degree to which they rise. And I replace he and heal with they a couple times, like 3 times, okay? And I replace but with and again. So here it is again. Every person is free to rise as far as they're able or willing. Will is the beginning of every accomplishment, achievement. Every single achievement starts with the will to do it. Will is the same thing as courage. You want to encourage more, beginning with yourself. Every person is free to rise as far as they are able or willing. And it's only the degree to which they think that determines the degree to which they rise. Because every single thing that has ever existed and ever will exist begins with a thought. And will begin with a thought, including emotions. And then your thoughts and your feelings bounce off of each other and lead to your actions. There's some nice drawings of yellow butterflies on this page with bluegrass at the bottom of it. How about that? If you had to search for light, the one thing you'd obviously shun would be the darkness. You'd know for certain that spending your time analyzing dark places and wallowing around blindly in the dark wouldn't be the way to discover and experience the light. Now exchange the words italicized light and italicized dark in this example for the words italicized abundance and italicized scarcity. The same logic, you want the same logic to apply. You want that same logic to now apply. I changed the word should to want to, because no one likes to be told what to do. You want that same logic to now apply. Light is abundance. Dark is scarcity. You cannot, I'm talking off the book right now real quick, you cannot get rid of the darkness. You cannot get rid of the darkness by adding more darkness. You cannot get rid of hate by adding more hate. You cannot get rid of grief by adding, or anything by adding anything that feels, you cannot get rid of anything bad by adding anything that feels bad. The only way you can get rid of anything that feels bad is by adding stuff that feels good. You have to add the light. To get rid of darkness, you have to add the light. To get rid of scarcity, you add the abundance. You feel the abundance. You know you are abundance. You know it's speeding its way to you right now. You know it. You just know it. And then watch it happen. Watch the connections start to appear in your life that you want to have. Watch the opportunities start to come into your life that you want to have when you know that abundance is speeding its way to you right now. Exchange the words light and dark, back to the book. Exchange the words light and dark for abundance and scarcity. The same logic now applies. You can't find abundance by analyzing and wallowing around in scarcity consciousness. Yet this is often why a disparity exists between your desire for prosperity and the lack of it in your life. What's happening, Peace Machine? I paused my recording. Next time someone walks by me here on this path and waves and smiles, I'm gonna ask them if they want to sit down and join me for this reading. Let's see if it works. I want to get that to work one of these times. Review the observation offered by Ernest Holmes in the quote at the beginning of this chapter, quote, "As we express life, lost my place. Hey, what's up? Good morning. Have a great day. As we express life, it's a quote, as we express life, we fulfill God's law of abundance. We fulfill God's law of abundance, ... end quote. As we express life, we fulfill God's law of abundance. Think of this as a legally binding dictum from God, as a italicized law. Even St. Paul observed that, quote, God is able to provide you with every blessing in abundance, end quote. Or whatever you want to call God. God, Jesus, Brahman, Buddha, Shiva, Krishna, Allah, the infinite, the Chi, the power, the almighty, the ultimate intelligence, the ether in the air, the omnipotent benevolence that cannot be compared, that's neither here nor there, and also everywhere. The field, the matrix, particles that when observed collapse from waves, the immaculately concepted Son who saves, it, that, all that is, our supernatural subconsciousness. There are 10,000 things, including the 10,000 things that we can think of to call our source of creation from above. I like to keep it simple and go with unconditional love. Unconditional love is within you, filling you, guiding you. Think of this as a legally binding, one more time, as we express life, we fulfill God's law of abundance. As we express life, as we choose to express life, we fulfill God's law of abundance. If we choose to express, I'm talking off the book, if we choose to express life in a crappy way, like life craps on me, then guess what you're gonna get? If we choose to express life as abundance, then guess what you're gonna get? If you choose to be a victim, guess what you're going to continue to be? If you choose to be empowering, guess what you're going to do? Empower. Like the tattoo on my arm in big, bold, all capitalized red letters that says empower. Back to the book. As we express life, the quote by Ernest Holmes, as we express life, we fulfill God's law of abundance. End quote. Think of this as a legally binding dictum from God, or whatever you want to call God, or whatever you want to call God, as a italicized, law. Even St. Paul observed that, quote, God is able to provide you with every blessing in abundance, end quote. I draw the conclusion that prosperity is something that's always available because this is descriptive of the capital S source from which we originated. Prosperity is something that's always available because this is descriptive of the source from which we originated. If we came from unlimited abundance, then we must be what we came from. Scarcity isn't a problem because of where you were born or what your parents accumulated or the state of the economy. The so-called problem of scarcity is due to the simple fact that you tipped your belief away from your original connection to unlimited abundance and began to live in and analyze scarcity. Hey, good morning. You want to sit down and join me for this great reading? Okay, see you later. There's 5 more stumps over there that someone can sit on if they want, that I'm not using right now. Scarcity isn't a problem because of where you were born or what your parents accumulated or the state of the economy. This so-called problem of scarcity is due to the simple fact that you tipped your belief away from your original connection to unlimited abundance and began to live in and analyze scarcity. The equivalent of darkness in the first paragraph of this chapter is that. The equivalent of darkness. You've chosen to believe away from your original connection to unlimited abundance and began to live in and analyze scarcity. At the top of this page, page 105, it says, you can't discover light by analyzing the darkness. That's the title of the chapter, okay? Wayne Dyer says, I advocate making a shift toward analyzing the light of prosperity and correcting this imbalance between what you desire and the way you're living. New heading, which is in purple font and capitalized and centered. How you avoid expressing life and fail to fulfill God's law of abundance. How you avoid expressing life and fail to fulfill God's law of abundance. In order to express life and be the recipient of God's blessing for abundance, fly high, my friends, fly high. Gives me time to figure out how to replace this need with what you want to do, I guess. You need, nobody likes to be told what to do. Need is like saying should. What you want to do when you have thoughts and behaviors, okay. What you want to do when you have thoughts and behaviors in order to express life and be the recipient of God's blessing for abundance, you need to know when you have thoughts and behaviors that unbalance your desires. Is to know that you have thoughts and behaviors that unbalance your desires. In order to express life and your recipient of God's blessing, you need to know when you have thoughts. What you want to do is know when you have thoughts and behaviors that unbalance your desires to express life and be the recipient of God's blessing for abundance. The voice of your balance position is something I've repeatedly written about in this book, italicized. You became Okay, italicized. You become what you think about all day long. You become what you think about all day long. You become what you think about all day long. Here's a list of out of balance type situations. Dot. Dwelling on what's missing from your life. Ooh, this page is purple with white lettering. Dot. Conversations that are heavily weighted with what's lacking in your life. Dot. Complaining to whoever will listen about all of the reasons you've been prevented from having more. Complaining. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Don't complain, don't explain. Don't complain, don't explain. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. I got that originally from, I think it's chapter 1 in one of the first books that I've read, which was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That's a great book. If you haven't read it, add it to the list. If you don't have it, add it to the list. Okay. Dot. Cultivating an inner picture of yourself as a person who's just plain unlucky. Why? These ways of thinking and being set into motion an energy pattern that attracts precisely what you activate into your life. If you think scarcity, you'll create scarcity. If you talk to others about your lack, you'll just attract more lack. If you analyze your shortages, then more, shortages. It's split, okay? If you analyze your shortages, then more shortages will appear. I want to talk on this for a minute real quick, okay? What Wayne Dyer is getting at here is quantum physics. And all those things I was saying that God could be, when I was saying the field, the matrix, the ether in the air, the particles that when observed collapse from waves. This is all science here. In the 1920s, people like Niels Bohr, Max Planck, Albert Einstein, they won Nobel Prizes by, first of all, discovering that when you look real closely at every single thing that there is, it's almost all empty space. There's almost basically nothing here. The reason why a car weighs 2 tons is, I guess, because the 0.0000000000001% of what's actually there weighs 2 tons. That's really heavy stuff, that little bit of stuff, I guess. Anyway, back to what I was getting at. The double slit experiment proved that what you observe is what you get. Because when you observe one photon, the double slit experiment, you know what, I'm not going to describe this right now. If you want to know more about what I'm talking about right now, research the double slit experiment, okay? Basically what that did was it proved that what you observe is what actually happens in this world that we live in that we call Earth. It's amazing. How long is that person going to be mowing grass? Hey, birds. I got 20 minutes in this reading so far. I want to do 40 more of recorded reading before I finish this. I don't know if this is a good spot with all these distractions. Okay, back to the book. As soon as I figure out where I was. If you analyze your shortages, then more shortages will appear. I'm aware, says Wayne Dyer, that this may seem simplistic. That is, italicized, just change your thinking and money will come flying into your window. Yeah, just change your thinking and money will come flying into your window! Exclamation mark. End of italics. But before dismissing this, consider that an out-of-balance existence is asking you to notice what barriers and resistance you've erected in a world where God, or whatever you want to call God, is available to provide you with all blessings in abundance. There's 3 more beautiful drawings of yellow butterflies on this page. New heading, removing your resistance. Removing your resistance. Your desire to attract prosperity represents a highly spiritual request. It's perfectly attuned to the law of abundance from which you originated. Your imbalances are energies in the form of thoughts that you mistakenly believe will bring about the desired prosperity. Following are 7 of the most common thoughts that make the manifestation of prosperity virtually impossible. I call these the italicized unmagnificent 7. Unmagnificent 7. Because each belief practically guarantees that you'll stay stuck in scarcity in the way that I guess it's A-Y-N is pronounced Anne Rand describes in the quote at the beginning of this chapter. The italicized degree to which you think is the determining factor in creating a life of prosperity. So here are the 7 thought systems that keep you out of balance. 1, it's not God's will. I have a feeling that this person is going to be mowing this grass for a while, and it's pretty much distracting me. So I'm just going to go ahead and end this reading after only 20 minutes of recorded reading. I'll make up for it in the rest of this book by making them like an hour and 10 minutes 4 times, and then I'll probably be about done with this book. Unless this person just stops. Can I continue? Okay, it's getting quieter. All right, I'm gonna go ahead. By blaming God for not having what you need or desire, you justify a built-in excuse for accepting your lot in life. In reality, as St. Paul reminds us, God is more than willing to provide you with the blessing of abundance. In fact, God, italicized, is pure abundance. Or whatever you want to call God, is pure abundance. And italicized, you're the one out of balance on the prosperity scale. By putting the responsibility for your shortages on, capitalized, divine will, you create enormous resistance energetically. You're asking the italicized, or capitalized, universe to send you more of what you believe in. The solution to removing this barrier, which applies to all 7 of these resistance energies, is changing the belief. Carlos Castaneda, maybe. I think Carlos Castaneda, writing in italicized and capitalized, which means it's a title of something, Journey to Ixtlan, I-X-T-L-A-N. How do you think you pronounce that? Ixtlan, Journey to Ixtlan, said, quote, "If I really felt that my spirit was distorted, I should simply fix it. What I want to do is fix it, purge it, make it perfect, because there was no other task in our entire lives which was more worthwhile," end quote. How do you, quote, fix it, quote, purge it, and, quote, make it perfect? By first catching yourself in the midst of a fallacious thought and replacing that thought with something like, italicized, I am a creation of God. God is abundant. I must be what I came from. Being like what I came from means that God wants me to enjoy the fullness of prosperity. This is how I'm going to express life now on. I'll need to take out the from. Now on. Now on. Now on. I am a creation of God. God is abundant. I must be what I came from. I must be what I came from. Being like what I came from means that God wants me to enjoy the fullness of prosperity. This is how I will express life now on. If necessary, that's the end of the text. If necessary, print these affirmations and refer to them until they're a perfectly balanced reminder. Your lack is not God's fault. You have choice, so you choose to reconnect to abundance or stay out of balance, believing that that is God's plan for you. Good morning.
Good morning.
You want to have a seat and join me for this great reading of this great book?
You know what? That's okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Have a good day.
You as well.
2. There's a limited supply. This thought represents enormous resistance to a restoration of balance on the prosperity scarcity scale. Thoughts such as, italicized, there's only so much to go around and everyone can't be wealthy. We need poor people to sustain a balance in the world. So I guess I'm just one of those poor people. Are similar thoughts of limitation and won't attract a prosperous life. In fact, they'll make that aim absolutely unattainable. There are many beautiful yellow butter drawings of butterflies on this page with blue grass at the bottom. Once again, the solution for removing this kind of resistance is to purge it and replace these thoughts with new energies that match up more harmoniously with the truth of the world that you live in. Try thinking of money in the context of the ocean. There's an infinite supply, more than enough to take care of your needs. The supply of money circulating around this globe isn't diminished no matter how much you take for yourself. Not friendly, he doesn't want to join me. Why? Because ultimately, money, like ocean water, has to return to its source. It just keeps circulating as energy. Take 1 million gallons from the ocean and it still remains the same. Here's how it works. Abundance is scooped from abundance and abundance remains. You can purge the idea of shortages from your mind completely and begin seeing money as energy in infinite supply. It's necessary for life, just like air, water, nitrogen, and carbon. 3, I don't deserve it. Here's a simple rule of thumb. When you don't believe that you're worthy of prosperity flowing into your life, then you'll attract precisely what you italicized do believe, which is, of course, a flow of scarcity and lack. If you believe that attracting money into your life is in some way inconsistent with the spiritual consciousness, then you erect barriers of resistance to stop this flow. If you desire to live an abundant life and you're attracting the opposite, then obviously you're energetically out of balance. Your desire is highly spiritual. And what you offer that desire is your feeling of unworthiness. And the universe, with a capital U, being what it is, it submits back to you precisely what you believe about being undeserving. To change this idea and rebalance yourself on this scale, you want to realign your desire with the energy of your thinking. You want to keep reminding yourself that you are a, capital D, divine piece of God, with a capital G. Feeling as if you're unworthy of God's abundance is the same as denying your spiritual essence and insulting your, capital C, Creator as well. Remember that you came here to be just like God. And you broke away from that idea when you believed more in your separation than in your unity with your capital S source. Wayne Dyer loves to say, what was I getting at? You came here, you broke away. Oh, ego. Ego is edging God out. EGO. You develop your ego. I'm talking all the book here. You develop your ego as around the ages of like 7 or 8. You start to begin to develop your ego when you realize that there's other people in the world. And this is what I want, all right? I mean, when you start to realize that it's better to give. I'm getting too far off topic here. Back to the book. Begin to change this out of balance attitude by cultivating an inner affirmation until it becomes second nature. Silently repeat something similar to, italicized, I am a piece of God. A capital D, divine, individualized expression of God, or whatever you want to call God. I am worthy and deserving of all that God is and all that flows into my life. The abundance I desire is on its way. And I will do everything I can to avoid blocking and resisting this capital D, divinely inspired flow. Good morning.
Good morning.
You want to join me for this great reading of this great book?
Oh, thank you. We gotta get muffins, but
Oh, all right. Have fun. You too. So I'm thinking I might as well ask the people who look friendly. Okay. There's a couple of beautiful drawings of purple butterflies on this page. 4. I have limited abilities and talents. Oh no. If you hold a belief in your mind that you don't possess the ability, italicized, or talent to attract abundance, then you've weighted your balance scale with a lifetime supply of scarcity. This is a huge symptom of resistance, masquerading as an excuse for why you're coming up short on the prosperity balanced beam. Reread the observation made by Ayn Rand. She didn't say, quote, it's the degree of talent that determines how far a person will rise. No. She said empathetically, quote, the degree to which they think, I changed he to they, the degree to which they think, the degree to which they think, end quote, is a determining factor. Your inner vision will trump your innate talent every time. In fact, if you have the confidence that the skills or abilities you want are readily available, then you're on your way. I'm going to say something off the book here real quick. Better's better yet if you know, when you know that the skills and abilities that you want are already in you. You were born with everything that you want. It's all already in you. The only thing blocking you from getting what you want is the ego that you developed, the edging God out. Between the ages of 0 and 8 is your major programming. You know, and then as you go through your life, unfortunately right now most of Earth School destroys most of the courage and creativity that's left in most people. Back to the book. In fact, you have the confidence that the skills or abilities you want are readily available and already in you and blocked by whatever you've been programmed with. Then you're on your way. The first and most important step is releasing any excuse that you've adopted about lacking ability. Then it's crucial that you create an inner picture of yourself already living a prosperous life, even though it's failed to materialize yet. This is called, italicized, thinking from the end. Thinking from the end. It forces you to begin an action program that's in balance with your inner picture. Now, and this is a crucial part, you must, italicize, become the abundance that you desire. Become the abundance. This is the crucial part. Become the abundance that you desire. That's right, you must, italicize, be it, rather than looking for it outside of yourself. These 3 steps help you eliminate the idea that you're where you are because of a dearth of talent. 1. Banish the excuse of no talent. 2. Create an inner picture of attracting prosperity, speeding its way to you right now. And 3. Act, italicize, as if, by italicize, being what you desire. Act as if by being what you desire. Be what you desire. Up until now. Change the picture. ... And miracle of miracles, you change your talents as well. I was frequently told, says Wayne Dyer, as a young boy and even as a college student, that I didn't possess the necessary talent to be a writer or a public speaker. It wasn't until I decided to follow my own inner pictures that my talents began to be heard. Why? Because the more I pursued my life from the balance point of what felt right for me, the more practice I gained, and the more the capital U universe and I were aligned. In that alignment, I attracted and recognized all of the opportunities and guidance available to me. Had I listened to those who professed to know better concerning my talents, I would have attracted precisely what I was believing: an absence of ability. Don't listen to the naysayers. Know what's in your mind, heart, and gut. That's the best truth that you have. What comes to your mind, your heart, and your gut. That was off the book. Back to the book. 5. I've never been lucky. The capital U universe that you live in and the lives in you, and the capital U universe that you live in and that lives in you operates on energy and energy alone. Quote, nothing happens until something moves, said Albert Einstein. Everything is vibrating, even what seems to be motionless. Your capital U universe functions with the capital L of NA law of attraction. Law of attraction, meaning that energy matches up with similar energy. Your thoughts are vibrations of energy. Your thoughts are vibrations of energy. Consciousness is primary. Low thoughts, those that are out of balance with capital S, capital E, source energy, attract low energy responses from the capital U universe. High spirituality, high spiritually based thoughts activate identical vibrations that bring you what you desire in harmony with your capital S source. That being said, there's no room for luck in the capital U universe. If you have an accident, You aren't unlucky, and you're not at fault. You're simply a vibrational match to whatever you collided with in that moment. There's yellow grass at the bottom of this page. By viewing your world in this way, you can begin to exercise more choice about what you're matching up with. By changing the lower vibrational energy of your thoughts to higher vibrations, you set into motion energy that seeks to match your higher desires. Even if this sounds nonsensical to your ego-trained mind, I urge you to begin the process of seeing things from a vibrational rather than a good luck versus bad luck position. That is, I recommend that you adopt this belief system that you have attracted into your life exactly what you've chosen to align with. If your luck appears to be bad, shift your expectations around. Make every effort to stay in balance with what you desire. Make every effort to stay in balance with what you do desire, rather than what you've been attracting. Luck will disappear as a factor. Make every effort to stay in balance with what you desire, with what you do desire. Make every effort to stay in balance with what you do desire. So match that frequency, match that energy. Tune in to what you want. Tune in. It's like tuning in a dial on the radio station. If it's one static, that's not what you want. Tune into what you like. Tune into the music that you like. Tune into the music that you like in your life. Tune into it. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply and hold it in. And ask for the guidance on how to tune in. Feel in your heart. Feel the feelings of your wishes fulfilled. Feel the feelings of your wishes fulfilled. Feel the feelings of your wishes fulfilled. You probably get a smile on your face when you start doing this right. Are you doing it now? Are you doing it now? Are you doing it now? What do you want? Feel like you already got it. Feel it. Feel it. Feel like you already got it. Thank you, 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 thank you. By viewing your world in this way, you can begin to exercise more choice about what you're matching up with. By changing the lower vibrational energy of your thoughts to higher vibrations, you set into motion energy that seeks to match your higher desires. Even if this sounds nonsensical to your ego-trained mind, I urge you to begin the process of seeing things from a vibrational rather than a good luck versus bad luck position. That is, I recommend that you adopt this belief system that you've attracted into your life exactly what you've chosen to align with. Yes. If your luck appears to be bad, shift your expectations around. Make every effort to stay in balance with what you do desire rather than what you've been attracting. Luck will disappear as a factor. 6, it's always been this way. Why would it change now? When you use your personal history to justify why you're presently out of balance on the abundance scale, you're really saying, I have a long history of attracting scarcity into my life, and I intend to continue doing precisely the same thing. Thinking that the past is responsible for your continuing insufficiency is a major source of resistance. The past is an illusion. I'm saying this off the book. The past is an illusion. The future is an illusion. The only time that exists is now. The only time that exists is now. And then as soon as now is experienced, it's gone. Now becomes the past, just like that. So you have to continually focus on now. Continually. Always. Back to the book. Hey, what's up? You want to join me for this great reading? Okay. How's it going? Huh. All right. Back to the book. Thinking that the past is responsible for your continuing insufficiency is a major source of resistance. You've probably been taught that if you don't pay attention to the mistakes of the past, you're bound to repeat them. Here's my take on that advice. This is italicized, keeping your thoughts on the mistakes of the past guarantees that you'll continue manifesting them in the present. If you think you're better off tossing out your personal history of any deficiencies that have surfaced in your life. I think you're better off tossing out your personal history, says Wayne Dyer, of any deficiencies that have surfaced in your life. You're better off tossing out your personal history of any deficiencies that have surfaced in your life. Refuse to think about what's failed to materialize unless you're hoping for more of the same. Avoid talking about your bleak past. Don't identify yourself as someone whose childhood or early adulthood was characterized by dearth and paucity. I'm definitely not going to look up those words. Instead, look upon your entire history as a series of steps you absolutely needed to take in order to bring you to the present realization of your endless potential for abundance. Yeah. Instead, look upon your entire history as a series of steps you absolutely needed to take in order to bring you to the present realization of your endless potential for abundance. Be grateful for all that failed to show up. Then shift from resistance to the direction of manifesting your desires. And rebalance your thinking so that it matches up with those desires. Affirm, italicize, it is my intention to think thoughts that vibrate perfectly with my desire to be abundant in all areas of my life. I release any and all thoughts that put my focus and therefore my pulling power on what has or hasn't been. Yes, this is the key to restoring balance. 7. I don't know how to think abundance for myself. When you're convinced that prosperity consciousness is akin to a foreign language, once again, you've opted to italicize resist rather than italicize allow. You may not believe that you have the capacity to think in the ways that I've elaborated in this chapter. But I assure you that you do, in spades. You, the Rockefellers, the Hartfords, and the Kennedys all emanated from the same, capital S, source of unlimited abundance. It is you, and you are it. Your belief that you can't think in these ways exists only because you've allowed yourself to believe in your, let me try that again. It's you. And you are it. Your belief that you can't think in these ways exists only because you've allowed yourself to believe in a separation from your capital S source. You can, italicized, think abundance, even if you've never practiced it in your entire life. Right now, in this moment, you can initiate the practice of allowing only prosperous thoughts to live in your consciousness. Replace, italicized, I don't even know how to think like this, with italicized, I am abundant. I attract prosperity. I am in balance with this desire, and I will not think in any other way. That's how new habits are created. Make this your reality, one thought at a time. I'm going to say something off the book here, okay? I heard from Wayne Dyer, after I heard it a few times, to slow down at a yellow light, come to a slow stop. I started thinking, okay, he said it a few times, it must be, I've heard him say it a few times, it must be important. I've read it or heard it a few times, now it must be important. So I started doing it. I started coming to us, when the light turned yellow, I took take my foot off the gas right away and came to a slow stop at the yellow light. Now, every time I do that, I'm feeling abundance. Gas, abundance, time, abundance. Every time you do that, you're programming yourself a little more to feel abundance, 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 abundance. And I think it's a great practice. I highly recommend it. Back to the book. To paraphrase Ernest Holmes, all this adds up to expressing your life to fulfill God's law of abundance. Your existence is a gift from a thriving, plentiful, capital S, source of well-being. Being in balance means that you're expressing life by radiating this awareness with your thoughts. Consequently, your expectations support a beautifully balanced life in form. This message from the great Sufi poet Rumi encourages you to begin each day with high vibrations of expectation, that you're open to messages from your capital S source. Chapter 7 begins with red grass at the bottom of the page. This is in blue font and centered at the top of page 122. It says, "The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep." Don't go back to sleep. The breeze at dawn. That's a message from the great Sufi poet Rumi. Okay. Wayne, I've heard Wayne Dyer also. I've also heard Wayne Dyer say a whole bunch of times, or a few times, when you're up between 3 and 4, something like when you're up between 3 and 4 a.m., you put your feet on the floor. That's my favorite time of day, between 3 and 4 a.m. This quote again goes by Rumi. It goes, "The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep." Yeah. Embrace the silence. Embrace the peace. While you're in your silent repose, that's when your best guidance comes to you. It just comes to you. Back to the book. I remember this every morning as I awake, in what is actually the middle of the night for most people, and that morning breeze reveals secrets to me at the dawn of every new day. You're entitled to all of God's blessings, or whatever you want to call God. Being in balance is one of the secrets. Being in balance. You are entitled to whatever you want to call God's blessings. Being in balance is one of the secrets. Try it. And whatever you do, don't go back to sleep. Chapter 7. Fighting any adverse condition only increases its power over you, is where I'll begin the next reading on page 123.
When running your business, what's absolutely required to be successful are people on your team who you can trust.
Trust.
The way you can get people on your team who you can trust is to be
trust.
You do that through 2 ways. Number 1 is to say what you're gonna do.
Say what you're gonna do.
And then do what you said
And then do what you said you would do. Always.
Way number 2 is to be peace.
Be
You do that
peace.
by breathing deeply and holding it in for a while. Whenever what's happening outside your head is different from what's happening inside your head and causing you stress in your heart, while asking yourself in your head, what's good about the way that I did not expect this to go?
Tony Robbins would say,
How
what's
is it
great about
improving
this?
something?
What's great about this? What's great
It has
about
potential
this?
to improve you in some way.
What's
when you accept
great
the guidance that
about
you're being
this?
given. Also, ask
Time to
yourself,
rise.
how do I appreciate the person who I want to help or who I want to help me?
How do I appreciate that person?
Relationships are good when everyone involved benefits equally. Clearly, no response from someone means that there's no trust, that you can rely on that person, and it's time to drop that person.
Drop them like a bad habit.
And move on to someone
Replace it.
who you can
Replace that
build
void
trust
with someone you can.
Trust is the
Replace all
foundation
bad
of
habits,
any
the
good
void of bad
relationship.
habits, with something that you like. Trust
Being
is the
in
foundation of
balance
any good
by Wayne
relationship.
Dyer.
Trust is the foundation of any
Reading
good relationship.
Number 5.
Peace. Where is it? There it is.
Chapter 6.